Hello, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, maybe even good evening. How is your Sunday going? We got Arter Circle, Coleman, Johnny, Alex, Bertle, Greg's here. I'm sure there's a few others who simply haven't posted in the chat yet. Happy to have you all. Excited to dig into today. Now, I did make one little change for today. Instead of finishing up with Tatran's Lovers, I pulled Einvera's Prismatic Distortion from next week to wrap up today because we checked out Tatran's Lovers last month on a album review. It was track 3 from that album. So I messaged the requester and I haven't heard back, so I was like, okay, I'll save that for later. If they want to keep it, we'll check out Lovers again next week. Otherwise, maybe they'll have a new request for us. I'm not sure. We'll see how that goes, but for today I did change that out. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Yes, thank you, Greg. It is useful to help the channel shine. Mark, glad to have you. Alright, so we have a lot of short songs today. And unfortunately, Tatran was one of the few longer ones we had, and I think it got replaced by a short one too. A medium one. So, we'll see if we make the 2-hour mark today. I don't know if we will. Inky, glad to have you. Let's kick this off. This almost would have been a very... Huh. Huh. You know, I have no clue what's happening now. Give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I can't fix that chat right there. Alright, so, ultimate jank. So, yeah, it's smaller than usual. Has a great background. Had to do something real quick and dirty, though, because for some reason, everything looks like it checks out, and it just wasn't showing anything, which is wild. And I just realized something. If I switch this over, yep. None of those. Huh. Well, that's certainly something, isn't it? We're just gonna have fun today, I think. And enjoy the jank of the streams. I don't know how people do it. Like, professional Twitch streamers where they have like their Twitch bot and like 5 different chat things and like 100 different add-ons and plugins. Like, things can just break out of nowhere. And this is just one thing, man. I don't know. Technological revolt stream. I can get behind that. Alright, Merrick, glad to have you. I think that's a new name. I don't think I've seen you pop up in Livestream before. RTQ's here. Cool, cool. Alright. Oh, and Stringhead popped in. Awesome. Alright, let's dive into this first one. Like I said, I don't know what we're going to do. If we have a music video, maybe we'll just... Mistrazi, hey! Hey! Did you see my message about Tatran? Just don't get undressed and accidentally leave your cam on. Dude, you have no idea how paranoid I get. After a live stream, I triple check that OBS has stopped streaming, that it is closed, that the camera cap is on. Like, I get so paranoid that I'm going to do something on camera because I thought everything was shut down. I only use free StreamYard, so not too many complicated stuff. Yep. Because like I check out a lot of OBS tutorials on how to add intricacy and movement and animations and all the cool stuff to streams and videos and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, let me grab this, and I'm like 13 or 15 pieces extended beyond what the natural program or what the program does by itself. And like all of them require that the program interact with them well and that they interact with each other well. And there's so many places where things can break. You like to keep it because it's cool to see them play live. Okay, then. I have to do some changes, but we can do that. Awesome. Then TATRAN will be our final one today, as originally expected. I will have to change some stuff on the fly later, but we will keep that for today. Alright, let's dive into this. What are we doing now? Oh, yeah. Let's hope this works. This request comes at us from Stringhead. This is a big comment, so let's get through this. This is the second track from Act 1 from one of my favorite musicals. Without spoiling much, this is an extremely meta story commenting on the nature of storytelling and our fondness for character suffering in order to grow, as well as the impact of cliched stereotypes, even if that's not something fully explored on this song in particular. It can be pretty funny at times, pretty tragic too. Act 1 has more of a traditional musical theater style and introduces the four main characters as part of a cabaret troupe in a very odd, Wild West scenario. Act 2 is a bit proggier and rockier, while Act 3 goes in a more electronic route. Two of the main characters appear on this track. The story is pretty easy to follow, and I really recommend it. There's other songs that are highlights for me, especially most of Act 2, but I picked this one since it isn't really that spoilery, should anyone want to listen to more, but clearly shows the nature of the story and characters. Alright, so I'm intrigued by that entire thing. No, it's fine. We can do it today. I have a backup. It just requires that I pull the backup back to the forefront. Back to the front up? Words are weird. But no, it's really not that difficult. And it was the original plan anyway, so we're going to stick with it. Let's dive into this. We have Paul Shapera's Hanmi's Plot. A very quiet opening to this.
Tales to be told come this week to unfold on a blind and
dude, I'm sold already. This is such a good start.
The good and the bad and the sane and the mad in their endless blood ballet. The wild deranged comes to rattle its cage. We must keep it quiet and tamed. A dance and a song let the mind start to calm with a touch of peril to grip and hold you on the edge as a fence unfolds so. Tears sometimes start when one bears you their heart alone upon the stage. Sometimes the lie tells more truth than you might have seen in light of day. Our villain Hanmi needs a scheme for this week that could bring this town to fall. Here she comes now to confide to a soul of her.
Hey, Sunsteel, welcome. Yeah, I agree. It does sound magical. It just has a beautiful, whimsical element to it.
This week that Hanmi's plotting, there's a train at 1 p.m. and it's this that she'll be robbing. The money for the orphanage is what the train has got, and you know she's gonna take it all.
No, I'm not doing it. That is stupid.
Yes, she is, cause she knows it's this week's plot, and
This week's plot is dumb, so I know she's a nada.
it's what the writer wrote.
But the writer is a moron. I came up with a better plot myself.
Seriously?
Come on, just try it. I swear it's like a million times better.
Alright. So last week, our dear sheriff had been caught, and he was tied up in Hanmi's dark bedroom for a spot then.
I wish. Alright, so he escapes, but his shirt is torn right off, so then...
Why does he have to be running around without a shirt?
Really, Helen?
Oh my god, you little horn dog.
Just trust me, it's totally integral to the plot. Guys! Can we maybe switch to something softly menacing in F sharp minor. Thank you.
That was good.
If I made a plan today, something strange, something sinister, a worthy game, I'd take the vaccines they made for the babies, and I'd change them so that when the babies take them, they would change to zombie babes, and all who watched would gape and pray, and while the poised on the edge of their seats, so I'd watch him be the gorgeous hero. If I made a plan today, something strange, the best plot of this cabaret, then I would take those zombie babes.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Mark.
With arcane techniques, then I would make them fly and crave to eat your face, and on that day the sky would rain with hungry little zombie babes who'd scream and chase and eat your face, and folks will swipe the air with bats and clubs to chase away the screeching, flying, bleeding face, eating undead babes, feeding on your heads as people strike them with their bats and crying why, screaming little bodies swooping from the sky, and everyone would scream and cry why. Chaos reigns unleashed about, so I'd watch him be the perfect hero.
Jesus Christ, Han, what the hell was that?
I know, it's awesome, right? Oh my god, I'm so proud of it. I totally thought it up myself, and it's like the best evil plan ever. That'll keep him glued to the seat.
Okay, just ladies and gentlemen, Han Me and her evil plot. All right, folks, next up, the sheriff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was, yep, yep. Y'all keeping the good stuff from me. It took 5 years to get requested this. I want more of it immediately. As Mark said, they're gonna throw it in their playlist to check out. Yeah, I am too. Immediately this week, I will probably listen to it because I am already hooked. I want to end the stream right now and just go listen to this. It's fantastic. The writing is spot on. I think they do a great job of crafting the different types of music that we have. The ending, bombastic western, big bump 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 stingers with the whistling over top certainly gives the image of an imposing sheriff. The menacing F sharp section was awesome. I love how it built into that bombastic ending there. And even the very whimsical, we're going to watch a musical about some fairy tale stuff that we started the track off with just perfectly encompasses that musical theater vibe. Everything about it works fantastic musically. I love the instrumentation choice as well. And as everyone said, the vocalist is just fascinating, has a wonderful range, and puts everything into the character. So, see, I'm there too, Mark. I would love for this to be a stage play where I can actually watch it, but something tells me it's going to be audio only. The oriental imagery is exposed on other tracks. It leans a lot into cliches to comments on them. That makes sense because it seems to be commenting on a lot of stuff in general, tropes utilized in storytelling. But yeah, I mean, that was just so good. Sadly, it's only an album musical. That's what I was expecting. I'll still enjoy it nonetheless. I'm so ready for this. And of course, it's full of comedy. The story itself, the way that it's delivered, the character arguing with the narrator, saying, "Nope, that makes for a dumb story, and I'm not a stupid character, so here's my plan." Oh, that's so good. 9,000 monthly listeners. That is not a lot. Definitely need to spread the word about it. When did this come out? Is there any way I can shoehorn this into more of my yearly recaps? Oh, 2016. Maybe I can just start a new format. Brian suggests. Brian recommends. Brian was told to listen to this and it's actually fantastic, so you should check it out too. I need to spread the word for some of this cool music. Yeah, I'm down though. I have nothing else to say about it. It's just too good. All right, what do we have next? Some Katatonia. Brian starts a theater company and puts on the. Dude, I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat. Wait, where's my marker? I might have an in with a local theater troupe. All I have to do is convince them to do the first production of this ever. That can't be too hard. Oh, you know what though? I do suppose there might be some extra stuff, right? Because I can only think of one musical that's entirely told through song, where there is no spoken word. Which might, well, there's spoken word on this too, so maybe that's not that big of an issue. I'm just wondering if anything extra needs to be written for it. Anyways, I'm going to look into this. It's definitely a Hail Mary. I don't think it's going to happen, but I want to at least give it a shot. How did it go from being silly to so serious? RTQ's a little bit behind. They also dropped a really good pun about, I was talking about the opposite of a backup, and they had called it a front down. I love that. It's going to be hard to get back to metal after that. I think so, because I had a fun time, and metal isn't always fun. No spoken word meant oh, I always forget about opera because honestly, I don't listen to a lot of it and I don't really like it. I was very taken aback by what was that we checked out? Bluebeard? I can't remember. It's the only opera we've done on the channel though. Bluebeard's Castle. That's what it was. And I really enjoyed that. But usually I'm not too big on opera. So I always forget opera exists. But yeah, I suppose opera is mostly sung too. But outside of that, the only thing I can think of is Repo the Genetic Opera. And I don't even know if that really counts because there's no stage play of it. It's only a film. But there isn't. There might be two spoken lines in that aren't accompanied by any music. Bartok. There we go. Bartok was the composer, right? And it was called Bluebeard's Castle. It's gonna be funny when RTQ catches up and they find out how behind they are. as I made that comment. Oh man. Fun metal wise, I recommend Carnival and Coal. I don't think I've heard of them before. Does Jesus Christ Superstar not have any spoken line in it either? There we go, Bela Bartok. Yep. And I'm pretty sure it was called Bluebeard's Castle or something like that. I remember making a comment that his beard wasn't blue. That was fascinating though. We did the whole opera on for a reaction. I was very taken aback by it. Oh yeah. This is what we're doing. Oh no! Already pushed that button once, didn't I? Wow, that's just how this day is gonna go, huh? All right, so this one is requested by Bertle. Who says, if I understand the song's lyrics correctly, the song's about a person who is invited to their ex's wedding, which they are still in love with, and goes through all the horrible emotions by watching that person get married to someone else. That sounds like not a fun song. But, okay. Let's do it. The July request. It's an opera, so I don't think rock operas obey any of the rules of an opera. It's just sort of what they got called, right? Is that another opera? Hedwig and Angry Itch? That doesn't sound like an opera. I mean, if you want to call it that song, sure, go for it. Fun is one of the words I would never use for Katatonia. See, I forgot too, Katatonia is the Doom group. So, yeah, I'm not expecting fun from any of theirs. But, I mean, this description, to me, hits a little harder than I would expect. Alright, let's dive into this and see what Katatonia is doing. Yeah, just the theatrics of it. Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know why I wasn't expecting that. That sounded really weird.
You come clean. Waves collide now. Defenseless numbers.
Right, not Doom, but they came from Doom. I'll pay attention to the transitions then, see what's up.
How come you invited me to? You knew I wanted you. You glide above.
Alright, so we're in 5/4 with an accent on 2 and the and of 5. That's wild.
Belongs to you. I know this isn't true. Are you dead to love? I see the bright lights. It's the month of July. It's violent here. Why have you left me? If only you could stay and keep me in.
Lots of offbeat accents in here.
It's violent here. Why did you run from me? So, how come you invited me to?
This sounds very familiar though. Not the song itself, but just the vibe that it gives off. You think it's a slow 4/4 still?
This night belongs
The vocals are such a perfect match for this, though. Just the way that they kind of, I don't know how to describe the guitar work, man. Their biggest hit, that makes sense because to me it feels the most radio rock. I could see this coming out alongside bands like Seether and 7 Years back in the 2000s. I don't know when this came out. I don't know, I was counting consistent 5s. Maybe I'll go back and double check that. That's a fun little idea. RTQ caught up. Oh, so it is 06. Yeah, this would have fit on the radio just fine. Yeah, the break, this is creating rhythmic tension. But other than that, it's not really doing a lot. It's acting as a low point against everything else. So its contrast might feel a little weak, but it's necessary for this to punch in, yeah. Yeah, everyone looks older here. That was fantastic. I'm kind of mad I came to it so late though, because if I had heard this in high school when it came out, I would have been all over this. But right now, no, I really only listen to music in this style for the nostalgia of it. And I don't have nostalgia for this because I didn't listen to it growing up, which is a shame because it's a really good song. But there's so much I have to listen to that I don't know I could listen to something like this, knowing I could be listening to something that would suit my tastes better today. But now that I know proc, that's not completely wrong. But to me, it's a solid radio hit. It's got some cool changes in it, but the guitar tones, the textures, the vocals, it reminds me so much of stuff I would have heard in the 2000s. And it's something that continues to fascinate me, right? So check this out. Why wasn't Katatonia on radio stations? It certainly fits the sonic mold. Were they not big enough? There's a lot of bands I've been introduced to over the years from y'all. And my first thought is, this would have been good on the radio. And it just never showed up, at least on Clear Channel radio stations. And it blows my mind. And see, that might be the thing too. Now that I think about it, that might be the defining thing. They're not American. Because I am thinking about the stuff that used to show up on the radio. You know, Disturbed, Shine Down, Godsmack, Korn, Puddle of Mud. They're all American bands. And see, so I got robbed of hearing some really cool music when I would have been in my prime of listening to this style, simply because American radio stations don't play non-American bands too often. I mean, we had a couple of they were hits though. They were single track hits. I'm thinking of bands like The Killers. I think they were British. We had a few British bands. But outside of that, I don't think we had any European singles show up on radio stations. And for those British bands, it usually was just one song, one good hit, and then they were never on American radio again. So probably not poppy enough. I mean, Shinedown's 45 isn't really poppy or happy either. American rock stations played some really dark stuff. So I don't think that's it, but I do think the regional thing is primarily what causes it. Had a friend who would listen to Katatonia to cure headaches. Dude, that's wild. Now I have the Team America song stuck in my head. Thanks, Mark. You should check out the live version of Plovdiv Opera Orchestra. Neat wind sections. Dude, link that to me in Discord, please. Greg, you might be onto something here. This being their first song with hit potential. Been through the desert on a horse with no name. That works too. Did I already cover the Pixies? Let me check. I don't think so. Nope. And I don't know anything by the Pixies. I'm only aware, I think, that they did a song called Gouge Away. Was that a different band? Yes, they did do Gouge Away. I know that song, but I only know a cover of it. And looking at some other big singles, Where's My Mind? Hey. Here Comes Your Man. Yeah, those aren't ringing any bells. Oh, Wave of Mutilation. I think I've heard the original of that. But yeah, Gouge Away, I've only heard the Papa Roach cover. So yeah, I don't have very much Pixies experience at all. Checking in late. Hello, nobody important. Glad to have you. You are important to me. All right. I mean, there's a possibility I've heard the track, but I don't know what it is based on the title itself. It's at the, okay, so I have heard it then. Granted, I couldn't tell you what it is. It's been decades since I've watched Donnie Darko, but yeah, if I watched the film and it was in it, I've heard it. I'm too young or they're too I don't know, I'm coming up on 40. I'm on the wrong side of 30 right now, so I don't feel young anymore, but I am kind of young in some contexts. I think the only band on that list I've heard of is Katatonia, so looking forward to hearing bands I'm not familiar with. Cool. I mean, that's what I love about the live streams. It seems that people pick stuff that's either comedic, something they've listened to recently, or what I feel like is more popular is that it would just never get picked for anything else, and they don't really want as much of an in-depth reaction to it, so it comes up on live stream as a chance for basically a monthly anything you want. I still have my hair. Whining is forbidden. Dude, I don't know how I have my hair. Granted, I think I'm good. From what I understand, you can look at your mother's father, and if they didn't lose their hair, then you probably won't either. I don't know how correct that is. But my grandfather died with a full head of hair, so I'm expecting to as well. However, dude, every time I brush my hair, like 10 to 15 hair things fall out. Strands of hair. Like, I don't understand how I have any left. It doesn't make any sense to me. You were much younger before we started the stream. Oh, jeez. Oh. I think those are the best comments when I read it halfway through thinking it might be, sort of serious. And it isn't until like I've almost finished the sentence when I realize it was a joke and then it clicks. Oh, that's so good. Lost a good portion of their hair, but brother still has a full head. Wow. Alright, where are we going next? Oh yeah, this band. The band that I need a pronunciation on. Also, that is an album art. Dude, today is a good day for laughs. Whether it's from the chat or that first song, I don't think I've laughed so much during a stream, and we're only 30 minutes in. This is good stuff. Hey, Synops, welcome. Alright. So, context. Let's hit the right button this time. This one comes from Kipper. Nope. I can't win today. Alright, let's get rid of that last bit from the Katatonia one. Not sure how to describe this one. Maybe shoegaze meets indie electronica. Whatever it is, it hits. Found them through the suggestions of folk on the Discord. By the way, the artist's pronouns are they, them. And they pronounce this project name like Yeule. Alright. And now it won't go away. Thank you. Alright. I suspect this chat's filled with a bunch of old prog nerds and a former edgy metalhead teens. That probably isn't entirely inaccurate based on my experience with the community and looking at YouTube analytics. That's probably pretty good. I tend to attract people, mostly males between the age of 24 and 65, which encompasses former edgy teens and prog heads pretty well, and I think having a majority of the music we listen to be progressive in some way or metal. Yeah. I have between 100,000 and 100 and 150,000 hair on my, that is really? Is that like, I don't want to count my hair, but that seems like a lot. All right. I'm going to have to do a hair checking stream. We're going to count every strand of my head. I'm kidding, but like, there's no way. I'm still edgy. I have my days when I still can be. Part of that teenage angst comes out, and I turn into a little emo kid again. But it's my edge has definitely been sanded down a little bit. Time to start the self-help cult. Alright. Let's dive into this. See what's going on with, what was it? Yeule. Where's Spotify? Dude, I'm all out of sorts today. Alright, let's go. Wait, no, let's not go because that would be way too loud. We're going to make sure we have ear safety going on. Now, let's dive into this. See what's going on with the track Dazies. Hey, Ethan. I know we have some younger folk, but they're like 5% of the YouTube views or something like that. You're definitely in the minority, but I'm glad to have you. It's cool. Respect your elders.
You like rotting in your bed. When was the last time you were fed enough love, but instead you pretend like you are
Oh, that really high-pitched harmonic. Yeah, this is very, very timely.
Right above me, violently.
getting very strong Lady Gaga vibes here on the semi-spoken word, but it works really good with the gazy guitar stuff.
Sick mind, sick heart, lifeless, desperate, sweetness, gentle, kinder, mental, black hole, black sky, angel cries, sweetness.
Yeah, I called that. Is that a scream in the background? That was a scream.
Cries and cries. Angel cries and cries and cries. Oh, sweetness, gentle, kinder, mental, black hole, black sky, angel cries and cries and
Black Dresses is the Ada Rook collab, right? All right, yeah, I can definitely see that then. So, yeah, I quite enjoyed this. I'm curious how, if like, okay, let me start over because I'm in the middle of a thought and I didn't start where I needed to start. My favorite thing about being alive right now is all the genre mashing that we're getting everywhere. Rock and pop and metal and hip hop and electronica. Really the five primary style. Well, country, we can throw country in there too. They're all getting smashed together in the coolest ways right now. And I'm curious if this is how people felt in the 70s with all the progressive writing that was going on. Not even just in the rock world, which prog rock was growing too, but even in the world of pop. It just, I've mentioned in the past that the mainstream idea of simplicity and complexity tends to be a pendulum. I feel like we're moving back into a bit of a complex area. Maybe not musically, where if this was put onto sheet music, it would be super complex, but we are mashing up ideas. It takes a lot of thought to figure out where genres overlap and how that can be utilized in a palatable way. Maybe it's just because I'm finally paying attention to music on a broader spectrum. When I was younger, I listened to what the radio told me to listen to. I didn't really have anything else to go on. And that was kind of it. I didn't really know about the stuff on the fringe. So maybe it's just because I'm finally expanding outside of that. I'm seeing some cool stuff. But I just really love the way things get smashed together. And this is right up my alley. The gazy stuff, primarily having really distorted, compressed background sounds focused on chords over riffs, sounds fantastic alongside the clean, slightly digital pop vocals. The laid back feel gives the entire song this lethargy that works really well with the vocal delivery. It all comes together as something a bit grungy and dirty, but not too much so. Never really veering too far into one direction, finding a nice medium point, a sort of moderation of all things. Is it the best at anything? No. But does it do what it does very well? Yes, and it kept my attention for the entire runtime, despite the slower tempo, which tends to be a bit boring for me. I think they did enough to keep it spicy. We went through several different sections. It felt fairly linear to me. There was one callback, which is probably a chorus in here, but the bridge felt very forward moving. We had that massive retardando in there. Yeah, this was just it's fascinating. I don't know if I could listen to a whole album of this. I kind of hope that this is one of the slower tracks on the album. I would need to be in a very specific mood for constant 70, 60 BPM stuff. But yeah, the atmosphere is great, the singing's great, the harmonies are great, and of course it has all the fun electronic stuff of new sounds all over the place as well. So I'm 100% down for this. We're definitely the best radio out there. Dude, I agree. I really do. Like, the internet in general is really good about finding new music, but I think that this community specifically, it's the best of the best. Honestly, I can't think of any better people to surround myself with for music suggestions. Have you heard of Sleep Trap? You're gonna hate it. I haven't. But I guess that's a genre, and I guess it's very slow trip hop or trap. Why can't it's just called trap? No, it's called trap something else, right? Anyways, a type of hip hop, but slow, I'm going to assume. Imagine putting on critical radio in the car and getting the kind of diversity we get in the live stream. I have thought about this. I think I talked about it a couple years ago. Probably in one of my yearly update videos. I'm going to guess February 2022 probably. Critical radio was a plan. Sort of podcast thing, I think, is what I eventually turned it into. Maybe like a 1 hour or 2 hour thing where I give some snippets about, oh, this upcoming band does this and they make this and here's a song from them. But the end result is that every time I tried to figure out the logistics of it, DMCA came into the issue. So I never took another step with it. Oh, it's just called trap, huh? Okay. Of course we're the best. Just ask any of us. I don't think I've ever covered klaxons. But if it's anything like a klaxon, I don't think I'd enjoy that. It's like a community of people who already research music through the internet. It is. You guys are super knowledgeable. It kind of blows my mind sometimes. I mean, I know there's like almost 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. The Discord's up to like 700 members. And I feel like I could really just type anything. Hey, has anyone heard of this? And I'll be like, I'll get responses. Yep, they're this kind of band. They came from this area. They were influenced by these. Just like a full wiki breakdown of anything. Trap is twerking music? Is that true? So what is sleep trap? The best of the best of variety. Yeah. The community doesn't submit enough war metal. What's war metal? Have we heard anything like that? Oh yeah, Spotify playlists. We still have those on, I gotta find a better way to advertise them, and I should probably get with Bear and change ownership of them to my official CR channel. No, the Spotify profile account. There we go. Jeez. It's not just my computer not working today. There's some proximity thing blurring out my brain too. And find a way to easily promote them alongside the theme playlists as well. Sleep twerking? Could you imagine waking up exhausted with your hips aching and you don't know why, so you record yourself and you're just twerking all night in your bed? Oh, jeez. That'd be so funny. I think I would have to send that to all my friends, and we would have the biggest laugh in voice chat. It would just be the funniest thing. See, when I hear war metal, I tend to think of Bolt Thrower, but to me they're not war metal. They just sing about war stuff, and I don't know if that's the same. Hate when it happens. Sleep twerking paralysis. Oh my god, you wake up and you can't control your body, you just keep twerking. Your hips are starting to give out, your bones are rubbing together, your joints, you're in so much pain, but you can't stop. And you see a demon on your body while you do it. Oh man, y'all are gonna give me nightmares. Marduk might be called war metal. Yeah, I don't think I know war metal. Anyways, this one gets pulled down too because I enjoyed that. I want to explore more of it. War metal of a genre is more extreme. See, Sabaton's power metal with more narratives. And see, that's what I'm thinking about Bolt Thrower too. Is they have war narratives, but are they war metal? Oh, it's a subgenre of blackened death. Okay. Yeah, see, I don't think I want to go that route. Granted, it could be fine. Blackened Death has treated me okay in the past. War metal doesn't sound... Dude, I'll tell you, most genres don't sound real to me. uh, the kick snare thing killed me. I did? What band did I check out, though? Yeah, Bolt Thrower is really cool groove. That's the only thing I really remember about them. Grooves and riffs. Other than that, I think they're just death metal, right? You know, it kind of goes without saying at this point, Side Nips. Someone brings up a black metal band, I might as well just flip a coin. What was one of the last ones we checked out? I know Azagrom. I gave them the thumbs up. I was like, this is good black metal. And then I found out about the members. I'm pretty much a tuning fork for it now. If it's black metal and I like it, they're probably not great people. I don't know why this keeps happening to me. Oh, okay. So it was a full video, but obscure. Don't remember the band name. Okay. Where are we going next? That was fun. I like having pop mixed in with stuff though, so that's always gonna work for me. Elvin, Brandhi, and Lord Spikeheart, Drunk in Love Hate. This one comes from RTQ with no context. I think the title is context and that's an album art. Okay. Satiricon's Age of Nero. It really was nobody important. Everything's easier when the bad people make bad art. It kind of sucks when they get good at it. I'm sorry? That's the context? Oh, jeez. Okay, let's dive into this. Yep. There's a lot of fun pieces here. I hope it coalesces into something. As the music started. really glad this was a live stream request. I don't know what I could do with this for a full analysis. Shade and core. Just call it sound collage. That wouldn't be wrong. Slenderman. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. I agree, Greg. I could see this group working well with Death Grips at a show. And now I want to get Johnny's opinion on this. I might have to ping him later. Terrible. When you wake up from a good dream to find you're in a nightmare now, Mark. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, haunted house attraction. Because like you can hear the sounds and screams from like a couple rooms down, and they're kind of intermingling with what's happening around you right now. Hearing what's coming up, you know, what you just left, what people are walking into. Alright, so hear me out on this. That's not bad. The Max Payne nightmare sequences? See, here's the thing, right? I'm kind of with nobody important there. There's some really good stuff here. It just never turns into anything. And it's too long, I think, for the collage soundscape it's going for. It never really gets interesting, which I think is its biggest flaw. It starts off with sounds that take me on a journey. What are these? Okay, I'm starting to understand how all this works together. Where are they going with it? And that's the question that never really gets answered. They don't go anywhere with it, which is fine for what they're doing. But I think that also creates a very large barrier of interest on it, where you're either really going to like the dissociated randomness of it, the soundscape that they create, or you're going to say this isn't a very good song. It's missing a lot of rhythm and direction and melody, and tend to walk away from it. And I really think it could have turned into something interesting. There was a project that went under a couple of different names, and part of that may have just been the internet mixing things up. But they did They covered hip hop songs with the original hip hop instrumental tracks, but they did emo or screamo or hardcore screaming on top of it. And I've always really liked that combination of the hardcore vocals alongside hip hop instruments and beats. This almost scratched that itch, except it never really turned into something with any sort of flow or direction. It kind of stuck with its randomness, which is what ultimately made it a bit stale for me. Strangely enjoyable. See, I agree with that. It has some interesting stuff to it, and I would like for it to turn into something more traditional at times, but overall, I'm not opposed to the sonic landscape. I just didn't like the way that the hills were put in this landscape. That's not a great metaphor, but the track almost seems like it would be an interlude in a 45-minute long song. See, and it makes me interested in what the rest of it is. Deconstructed music is very popular. And yeah, I agree. I do think this is neat in the idea that it's artistically interesting. I just think it's a bit of a shame I can't enjoy it casually. I am intrigued about the rest of the album, though. I don't know if I'd listen to more if it's just that. There may be a standout song I have on the album, but I doubt I'd enjoy a lot of it. But I do like the smashing together of sounds. Taking you around the corner to the next scare actor. See, and that's where Death Grips works, is that they can be experimental like this, but they also have direction and flow. They understand the more traditional elements, or they want to utilize more traditional elements in their music. So, yeah. Injury Reserve. Have I done them before? That sounds very familiar. In fact, Knee sounds familiar too. Evil Galen Tipton? Her stuff is shorter and brighter, but still sound collage. I think I just need to get into sound collage. Maybe we'll do a theme for that. I don't know that I'm going to enjoy it, but I have very limited exposure to it also. And that's always one of the big hurdles to getting into something is simply exposure. Not made for casual enjoyment. We checked out 2 Injury Reserves on the same live stream like 2 years ago. Jeez. Yeah, I'm not going to remember that. The name was familiar though, which is good. It's pretty bad when I hear a band name and I'm like, oh, okay, we're in for a fresh band today. And then I look it up and I've done like 4 reactions to them. Memory's not so hot today, huh? It's not sound collage, it's just music. That's not incorrect. Alright. Next up we got some Drakengard music here. From Terranekla, chill track to end the world to and have romantic feelings for your own brother. That's Drakengard. That's Yoko Taro for you. Alright, so this one is composed by Nobuyoshi Sano, and we are looking at the track, I believe it's Exhausted from Route B Staff Roll. Let's dive into this. Okay, so people who might be wondering about Nier. I don't know when we're going to finish up Replicant. It'll probably be when school gets back in, since I'll have more time to put towards it. Maybe we'll go back to Wednesdays. I don't know if I'll be able to do Wednesdays and Fridays again, but I wager there's only 3 or 4 more playthroughs on that before we wrap that up. And then I think I have one game I want to put as a buffer before jumping into Nier Automata. So, September maybe we'll dive into Autonoma's playthrough. Just, keep an eye on Discord and Twitch, and you'll see when that kind of stuff happens. The closest we have to a Nier stream. Yep, Nier, well, Drakengard, but music reactions. Alright, You could be playing it right now, multitasking. Oh, jeez. Yeah, let's dive into this. Do I do that often? Is that a little mannerism I have that I've never picked up on? All right, let's go. It's a fun start. I do. I gotta keep track of this stuff that I do often. Capitalize on it. Oh, and the dual vocals are interesting too. It's not quite making me nauseous, but it is odd. I am waiting for the next thing though. Do it. Make a list of all the weird stuff I do often. Yeah, I don't think it needs to be said either, but you know, turn the volume down, take the headphones off, whatever you need to do if it is making you nauseous. I'll let you know when it changes. Well, for those who took their headphones off, it's changed. Oh, but it's back now, so there we go, bilateral stimulation audio. Interesting. Dude, that's wild. That's cool, I guess. Not cool for me. But are you ready for the end of the worlds? It's interesting that there's slight, I don't know if I'd call it desync, but the vocals are changing syllables at different times than the synth is coming in on that hit. And it's creating like a galloping kind of idea. They're just behind each other. Alright, so here's where I'm standing on this one. It's a cool idea. I love, especially when everything comes together. We have the synth that's coming in underneath. We have the back and forth thing. We have the center vocals singing and the side vocals doing their own disjointed spoken word. I think that's all very, very cool. It is painting a very cool sonic picture. But it never really turns into a song for me. However, this is a video game soundtrack. I wonder what this sounds like on speakers. Because Drakengard's a PlayStation 2 game, I'm going to assume that they figured people were playing on stereo televisions. The PS2 might have had surround sound capabilities. Maybe they could have banked on that, but at the same time, you'd figure a majority of people are going to be playing on stereo with speakers right in front of them. I wonder how that sounds. If it's just as disorienting or if it sounds cool. We had somebody mention, oh yeah, Javenstrom mentioned that having their MacBook speakers, it sounded like the sound was coming from behind them. Now I kind of want to listen to it on speakers too. I'm going to pull that aside. I'm going to check that out later. Because it's only going to take a couple of seconds. It's not like I have to listen to the whole thing. I got to figure out a better way to do this. There are some times, depending on what window I'm in, and I have like 11 windows open, that when I mute my microphone or unmute my microphone, Windows gives me that error chime. And of course, it gets picked up by streams and recording and all that. It always shows up. I got to get around that. Listen, hypothetically, it's not bad. It's just practically bad. That is a very interesting breakdown. Shading Core, you're always reading the worst into what I can just say one word. Interesting. And you're like, this is what he really meant, and it was negative. Oh, man. The challenge being playing the game while seasick. Well, it is called Staff Roll, so I'm going to assume that it's a credit song. So you can be sick while looking at the credits. Alright, Greg, have a good rest of your Sunday. And like always, I'll try to get this thing uploaded quickly so that people can watch the VOD later. Switch to no sound Windows theme. Is that a thing? Do I rely on Windows sound for anything else? I don't think so. On the flip side, though, it's not a problem I'm going to have anymore. Because y'all know I'm taking my 2-week vacation, internet detox, whatever you want to call it, this month. After the 21st live stream, that's going to be the beginning of it, and I'm going to take that week and the next week off, and I'll return on August 4th for the first live stream of August. In that time frame, I'm going to be finalizing all the stuff on my Linux box and hopefully getting that to go. In which case, I'll never have to worry about this again because I'll be using OBS WebSocket and command line, terminal commands. So I won't have to worry about weird interceptions of keys or anything like that. But yeah, that might be something I'll look into for the next couple of streams. No sound Windows theme. No sound Windows theme, not stream. You can edit Windows sounds too. Oh, that's true. I could probably just remove the one notification thing. Smart computer stuff. Yeah. The streams have always been the part that I feel is the most duct taped together, and so I'm spending a lot of time. I was really expecting to be off of this because this is still my temporary band-aid solution. This computer isn't really built well for streaming and video recording and all that stuff, and I just kind of repurposed it for that when my work computer broke. And when I got the work computer back, I was ready to just like dive back into it. That was like a month and a half ago. But the whole Linux transition has been wild. So many small things. I thought I was good to go like 3 weeks ago. And then the whole hotkey thing came into play. And like I use this little thing right here. It's a little wireless keypad to control my streams and recording and stuff, and it is seen as the same device as the keyboard in Linux, at least as far as KDE Plasma is concerned. So I had to find stuff outside of that, and then I've had to learn that, and it's been a ride. But I'm so ready to get everything back to the way it should be. Install Linux, problem solved. I have Linux installed. It's everything else. I found that about 60% of my Windows setup carried over one-to-one perfectly. I've had to relearn the other 40%, and it's just taken a while. What kind of song should we suggest for the No Sounds Windows theme? You can suggest any song that doesn't have a standard Windows sound to it. So if you use the Windows 98 boot up sound, that song's not applicable. Where's your background radio interference gone? Dude, I have no idea. It comes and goes, man. It'll be a couple of years and then I'll hear it again. I'll think I'm good. Out of nowhere, it'll come out of my TV or out of my monitor or something. Shows up in the recordings now. I didn't know that was possible. I have no control over it. It could be like 3 more years, you guys never hear it again, and then bam, it's just going to show up. Oh, it's a meme going back to the early 2000s. Gotcha. 2006 Toyota Corolla? Is that a band? Pretty sure. Okay, so yeah, you did see a cable coming out of this wireless device, but you'll notice it's a different colored cable. It's charging, because when I started this stream and I turned it on and I went to hit the button to go to, to start the stream, it didn't work because it was dead. That's the worst time to find out something you need's dead. It's a band. So yeah, you guys call me out on stuff. Y'all are so quick. Link in Discord. Cool. All right, that's also a album art. That's the second time I've said a album art. No one's called me out on that. I'm calling myself out on it though. I gotta stop that. Maybe like the opposite of noise. I could probably get behind that. This one is Ferryman. No, that's the artist? No, that's backwards. The title is Ferryman, and the artist is Shayfer James. Yeah, that's right. That's hard to read backwards. You wouldn't guess that. My brain's all foggy, I told you. We got Marsh suggesting this with no context. Let's dive into this before I stumble over some other words that I probably shouldn't, because I should be able to speak good. I speak for a living. Wait, this is Will Wood?
Joe met Daisy on the Day of the Dead, when he woke up drunk and handcuffed to a dirty double bed. She said, Joe, you should be wary of the women you pretend to love. Then she wrapped a plastic bag around his head. Joe met Daisy on the Day of the Dead.
It often can be representative for that.
Oh, your time is coming fast, and the ferryman only deals in cash.
Yeah, I'm digging this. This is the fun jam right here.
And the ferryman only deals in cash. Then met Gary at a backroom game of pool, when he caught him petting heavy with a boy from Baton Rouge. He said, Ben, you should have learned by now I'm not a fan of fucking around. Then he beat him with a bottle and a cue. Ben met Gary at a backroom game of...
Has a lot of the same energy as our first track. Very light, musical theater-esque. Lovely harmonies.
Well, it just makes sense. If up is a down, there's another side. In is an out, so it's worth a try. People want each other, but they want themselves more. Even when you love is something new to live for. It's to die for, therefore to kill for. Black is white, so go to the light, my love.
Classy fun. I can get behind that.
Jane met Ginger
Ooh.
for dinner in July. She Ginger said that she'd forgive her, but the
That was
secrets
nice.
and the lies. So they drank a toast for days to come, and the devil spoke with Ginger's tongue. Oh, I hope you like champagne with cyanide. Jane met Ginger over dinner in July.
I really delayed that drop and didn't even come in as heavy as I thought they were going to.
Coming fast, and the ferryman only deals in cash. Oh, your time is coming fast, and the ferryman only deals in. Oh, your time is coming fast, and the ferryman only deals in cash.
Oh, the little grit on his voice. That gave me pause too. But I wonder if they're talking about Charon. Because the ferryman only deals with cash. I'm thinking is needing the 2 coins to cross the river Styx. I think that's accurate. You get ferried across into the afterlife. I wonder if that's what they're talking about. In which case, champagne with cyanide, which would be the death ticket to get to the ferryman, to pay for it, that kind of thing. That's where my brain's taking some of that. A lot of it's out of context, so I may be way off. But reminds me of old Deer Hunter, yeah. But Deer Hunter's always had a bit of that theatricality too, so very fun though. I love that we've had 2 musical theater inspired tracks today. Fantastic orchestration, as somebody else had already mentioned. Lots of details and ornamentation. Oh, that was the Javenstrom. Just beautiful all around. And then there's so much character in the delivery of the vocals too. The guy has quite a bit of grit that he can put in when he wants to, but a lot of it is also this very beautiful, clean stuff. We have these gorgeous, spaced out harmonies on the side that do like a call and response thing. Has a southern riverboat kind of vibe, does it? In retrospect, yeah. Certainly not a lot of I don't feel like we ever get much mainstream stuff on streams, which is good for me. Like I said, I kind of view it as the place where people put their suggestions that wouldn't get picked otherwise. A good way to just kind of spread some spread the name of smaller bands. I gotta dig into this too, though. And hopefully this discography is a bit shorter than the Deer Hunter. That's the one thing that keeps me from diving into that. I'm like, dang, I gotta do 5 acts. It's like trying to watch, Lord of the Rings for your first time. And people tell you, hey, you need to check out, the special editions. And you're like, oh, geez, that's like a 10-hour commitment. I don't know if I can do that. That's what the Deer Hunter feels like for me. Like 5 albums. Oh, geez. The unpopularity place. I like that. Oh, yeah. See, we got Selfish in here, too. So I wonder where Will Wood showed up in this track. If he showed up in this track. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Will Wood's in there. Did he just write it? Oh, he was the lyricist. I don't know if he performed in there, too, but I didn't hear him. I'll put it that way. But it definitely feels like his type of music, so it's not a big oddity for him to be attached to this project. Which, if you're a Will Wood fan, in chat right now, I know. Selfish. I need to do an album reaction of it. Oh yeah, the muted xylophone was fantastic. I loved how it came into that section. It pulled us from the last one into it, and I was like, oh, that's a cool transition. But then it kept playing. Nice call and response against the vocals. It was really nice. Yeah, lots of different ideas in there, though. Nice fluid linearity. Probably works well with the storytelling of it all. We do have the ferryman only takes... I don't remember that line now. Anyways, the chorus line, I'm pretty sure that was the chorus, but everything else felt like it continued to push in new directions. So I like that. Linear cyclicality. But yeah. Dang, y'all are giving me good stuff today, too. Did I pull that one? Yeah, I pulled that one down already. Oh, yeah, there we go. The Ferryman only deals in cash. That's it. All right, next up, we got some art Vandelay. March of the Man. This one comes from Johnny Truant. Aussie, emo, hardcore, post-X trio. As far as they know, they only put out one album in 06, but it's really good. So I'm good. I'm good with that description. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's dive in. See what's going on with art Vandelay. Very compressed. I would like a little bit better production, but I'm digging the music. Yeah, that bouncy idea to wrap the chorus up is nice. You know, it actually has a little bit of, yeah, his vocals aren't really emo. They're kind of grungy. Reminds me of like a Puddle of Mud. That is the worst part of the 2000s hardcore scene, or those kind of breakdowns. They're functional, they're fine. Not my favorite though. Yeah, I'm sold. That's my home right there. There's so much that's it's such a weird feeling to be nostalgic for something I've never heard before. But I feel like I've heard that song. Of course I haven't. There's just so much in it that's familiar to me though. Um I will say though, the two biggest things, you know, the production. It's a shame. I feel like whenever I finally get around to the post-hardcore journey, I'm gonna have to deal with a lot of that as we explore some of the smaller bands that only put out one album and didn't have a lot of money for that, and so the production suffered. Um, but I think it's fine-ish. I can get the general gist of everything. I can still hear most of the instruments. It just feels small. It's lacking the size and the impact. Could we? See, I was thinking about this while listening to it. And I was wondering if any producer without the stems could improve this in a drastic way that doesn't make it sound bad. Because without the stems, I mean, you're making wide changes to it. But could AI do it? See, because here's the other thing that's really wild is I posted this tool up in the composition channel a long time ago, several months, maybe even a year. So I doubt many people saw it. But there is an AI tool. You feed it a song and it will pull out with sonic isolation, I suppose, probably looking at specific ranges, the instruments of it. And then you can tweak them as you go. I don't know how powerful that would be, since again, it's still not the stems. You're going to get a little bit of overlap with other stuff. It's sonic isolation, but not full on, not full isolation. But I wonder if you could do it with that. I gotta go find that program again, because now I'm tempted. I would love, yeah, because it's just narrow. That's what it is. Everything gets mushed together. It's very compressed. I would love to be able to. I mean, that's one of the things that I think AI should be used for. Is some of this lost media that isn't in a great state anymore that can be restored. As Javenstrom had meant, no, Sunsteel had mentioned, using AI to upres a music video, or maybe a live video. Yeah, live one. It's not perfect, but sometimes it can work really well, especially with enough hand touching going on too. You can't just pop it in there and take whatever the AI spits out. It's not going to be great. FL Studio does AI stem separation. And see, that's what I think this web program I'm talking about does too. The day AI can improve any music with soul, we're all doomed. I don't know if we're doomed. There's definitely a skill that we need that does make me feel a little doomed, because it goes alongside with media literacy, which I feel is at an all-time low. But being able to pick out AI utilization, poor utilization even mostly, or pure AI creation, and opting not to watch it or listen to it in order to, deliver that message, hey, we want people making art. I'm not sure the AI could approximate sonic isolation, but I would also think some tracks are more difficult. And yeah, I'd wager if I gave it a very well, clearly produced pop track, it's going to do a lot better than if I gave it this Art Vandelay track. Had some scratches, but looked way better, yeah. I'm not totally far off with that opinion, nobody important, but I do think that AI can be used in good ways, particularly in just to take it away from art, because I think it gets a little sketchy around art. But in the process of coding, usually a senior developer would have a junior developer do the mundane tasks, building simple functions or something like that. That is something I think you can give an AI to do, and it doesn't really remove much. It does remove jobs, which is its own problem on its own, but I don't think it removes artistic integrity. I think the issue is when you tell the AI to do the entire thing. And I'm trying to wonder if this piecemeal foundational concept can be applied to artistic endeavors as well, in a way that doesn't remove soul. Oh, there you go, Pear. When the AI, when the AI has soul, then we're doomed. Yeah, don't rebuild the Colosseum. So, I don't know. I think AI has usage, but the ways that it's being used now are definitely not the ways I would want to see it continue to be used. And everybody just kind of views it as a shortcut to not pay people. And yeah, there's way too many marketing things I've seen with AI created pictures that's just, it's so immediately noticeable to me. And all I can think is, oh, you have billions of dollars and can't pay an artist, a couple hundred to draw you a nice picture. That just puts a sour taste in my mouth every time. I do remember Arion. I do need to get around to checking out that album. It is on my list. And during my little 2-week internet hiatus, music will definitely be something I check out a lot of. I always do that. Every 6 months when I take my little hiatus, it's a little catch-up time for me. Oh, see, I was just thinking you were going with like a Skynet thing or an iRobot thing. But yeah, I can totally see that if AI gains soul and becomes human, that it will also take on many of the worst parts of humanity. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. About Age of Shadows being about AI. We just need more AI bros and crypto bros. Oh, to create a scam loop against each other. Yeah, I can get behind that. All right. I guess I'm going to go learn this no sound theme thing after this stream so that doesn't happen again because I'm getting tired of that. All right. Next up, we got the plans. Mon amour. Mon amour. I think that's right. Probably wrong. Synapse, the Swedish song from 2001. I'm still 4 weeks behind, so in the hiatus to be caught up. Awesome. Dude, I see your comments come in all the time, and I'm like, this dude's a machine. I don't know that you're watching all the video, which is completely fine, but I see comments like 4, 5, 6 comments on different videos coming back to back. Dude. See, that's what I was thinking. But this is a Swedish group, but I'm pretty sure that's French, right? Mon amour. Let's dive into it. See what's going on with the plan. Okay. This was Synapse? Not what I would expect.
I was walking by, didn't know the way. I was talking about, I don't know what to say. I was thinking, but I couldn't find a key. I was falling upon my knees. Mon amour, what I'm in, mon amour. We can go drinking in bars. We can dine on the fire.
Very fun. The organ provides an interesting timbre.
Do things we never did, mon amour. Where we going, mon amour?
On purpose. I can get behind that.
We can watch us turn to strangers. Watch chaos between you and me. Mon amour, can't you see?
Skip some of the growling songs. I don't blame you.
Nothing's enough, mon amour. Oh, mon amour.
Dude, those are really fun vocalizations. The low laws.
Oh, merde. Oh, merde. Oh, merde. Oh, merde. Oh, mon amour. Nothing's enough, mon amour. Oh, merde. Oh, merde. Oh, merde. Oh, merde, mon amour. Nothing's enough, mon amour.
Yeah, so that's just a fun song right there. Rather straightforward. Verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. Very simple, catchy melodies. In fact, the organ tends to play alongside the vocals, utilizing similar melody as well. Not a lot of complexity there. It's just a really fun, lighthearted, bouncy track. It's hard not to move to it. And I think what adds to that funness is the la la la's at the end. Or I guess that was about in the middle, but yeah, just that general idea, just kind of taking it easy. Not too serious. The screaming though, I'm not too sure what was up with that. Oh yeah, Broder Daniel. I kind of, but then he got upset. Yeah. I kind of want to know what all the lyrics are. I kind of picked it up at the beginning that I got the idea he was going to see somebody that he calls his love, but I kind of missed the lyrics for like the second verse. And when I picked it back up, he just started screaming. So, uh, yeah, I don't know what the lyrics are about there. Maybe it's the back and forth, the highs and lows of a relationship. I don't know. But yeah, I enjoyed that. So far, we have had a really fun stream. We've had some wild, eclectic energy in here as well, but a lot of fun stuff today. I hope we can keep that going. I know Tatran's lovers. I don't know if fun's the right way to describe. Well, it's a different kind of fun. But I have no idea what we're getting in store here with Ice Sealed Eyes, which is, that's a band name. Looking at the track Inner Wings, this one comes out as from Veil. Cool little thing I've been enjoying for the last week or so. So, let's dive into this, see what's going on with Ice Sealed Eyes. Oh yeah, it's possible we don't have any black metal today. Wait, you need 5 minutes? I can wait 5 minutes, Ethan. Wait, 5 minutes is all. Who wants to talk about something? Stop, Bandcamp. Seriously. um. So AI. uh. Oh, to kickstart next week. What are some of y'all's albums of the year so far? Let me pull my list up real quick, because I have some crazy bangers in here. Oh yeah, this is the right one. Alright, dude. I don't even know. So I have 9 EPs that I'm super stoked about. Blast Beat Tees. Language, musical genres, Black Gauze. I hope that's Black Gaze. Black Gauze is probably not great. Unless it's like black and dyed to begin with. But yeah, so like, do I know about Wormhole? Is that a band? Yeah, dude, Pear, that's a good one. Synapse didn't give me death metal today, and Bertle didn't give me black metal. Wait, do we have Bertle today? Oh yeah. Yeah, they gave me Katatonia. Definitely interesting requests from the two of them. Johnny Truant's lined up with what I expected. Terra Nekla gave me, yep, Nier and Drakengard stuff. That makes sense. Kippers, I think, was an interesting choice. Not something I would put outside of their usual range, but not something I would expect. Stringhead selection made sense to me. I think this was the first time Marsh contributed, so that was, one, very cool. They had the Shayfer James track, so I'm glad with that. And then this one's from Veil. And then Mistrazi's got so many different styles that they suggest. Although I think part of that is also because they do this cool thing where other people get to suggest for them. I know that they've selected songs based on what their kids wanted, or I think one time their wife. So you get a lot of variety from Mistrazi, that's for sure. Grey Wave's EP is pretty high up. Who's Grey Wave? Do I know about them? Kamasi Washington, I still need to listen to. I think I mentioned this last week. It's a huge endeavor. It's like 90 minutes or something like that. And I know it's going to be intense. I know it's going to be complex and layered. I'm like, I gotta be in the right mindset for it. I will be during the break. But I mean, when I listen to music all day and like really get into it, when I get done recording, I just want to listen to simple stuff. But I think by the end of July, I'll finally have that Kamasi Washington album finished. The connection between a black hole and a white hole. Arion made a song for it. Everything always comes back to Arion. Long history of music listening before getting into metal. That's awesome. That's awesome. I know so many people end up getting into metal, in their youth, and then they just stick with it. It's always good to come from somewhere else or to move into something else. All right, cool. Usually he takes longer. Oh, man. But yeah, so like, just real quick in this, Grey Haven's EP is fantastic and is Artificial Language. Gacheric Spin was good, which we had on the channel once. I think it was either a special selection, maybe we did Japanese Rock Week or something. There goes the marker. And yeah, that one song, I was like, I need to check this out. They had an EP coming out. I'll probably put a video together for my favorite EPs and LPs so far. And we'll expand more into that, but there's some good stuff. See, I was starting to think about that when I said it. Because, from my perspective, metal was already a thing as a kid. But, yeah, there's definitely a few of you older folk, we'll just put it that way, be nice about it, where music wasn't around yet, where metal wasn't around yet. So you definitely had to come from somewhere else. Any sane old people getting into music get eclectic sooner. Yeah, that makes sense. Tread lightly. Oh, man. Dude, pop and Disney is so good. I talk often about growing up on hair metal and Metallica and Kiss, but I forget about Disney too. I remember we had the VHS to Lion King and Aladdin, and I'm pretty sure I must have watched some of those tapes 3 or 4 times in a single day. Just pop it out, throw it in the VHS rewinder, put it back in the VHS. Yeah. So, nobody important. Are you a vampire? All right, let's dive into Inner Wings. See what's going on here. Okay, that's fair. Highlander works too. Okay. Really big reverb on those vocals. Okay. I don't even need to hear the rest of the song. That one comes down. do like these harshes better than the intro harshes. Not a huge fan of the breakdown, but that's just breakdowns in general. But then to transition into this gives this really stark juxtaposition. Dramatic is a good word for this artist circle. Everything feels like it has intent and impact. Just a tiny bit eclectic. The piano is a nice touch here. Relax and sleep to this. That was fascinating. I really love the juxtaposition there at the end between those really thin, treble heavy synth sounds in the background and the massive, gnarly, grumbling, rumbling, compressed, distorted guitars coming in with those bomb, bomb, those really big stinger notes. And then them going away, and all we have are these thin little synths in the background. Beautiful, beautiful sonic painting right there. But then again, all the light and dark juxtapositions in this track work really well. Moving from the blast beats to the break beat to the clean vocals to when we had the really heavy hardcore breakdown into the clean vocals. Pretty much anytime we went from something really heavy to really light. All right, Sunsteel, have a good rest of your Sunday. And get ready for next week's theme. It's going to be a good one. But yeah, jumping between those two sides. Every single time sounded so good. Adore anything in high contrast. I'm right there with you. For the most part. I do like contrast though. And you give me something massive like this, I'll be here. I was a little concerned with the initial harsh vocal and the blast beats. I was like, oh, geez, I think it was Synapse was like, no black metal this week. And then this started off kind of a little pointing towards that. And I was like, oh, no, we almost made it. But yeah, then we went into some really interesting places. Ethan said that this is under the new core genre, which, man, I don't like that name, but it makes sense. It is a lot of cores smashed together in new ways. So, like, okay, as long as the contrast doesn't involve kick snare. I don't mind it as a texture. It's got to be sparsely used. It is one of those things that is super extreme, just like blast beats, and so we need moderation on it, at least for my personal tastes. Which is, kind of what we got here with the blast beats. 20 seconds, 30 seconds maybe tops, and then nothing else. It is there just to introduce the intensity at the beginning. Yeah, exactly. The beginning left me a little worried, but the whole song just ended up being so good. This is modern metal. Probably closer to metalcore, I think, with all of the core style breakdowns in it, the clean vocals, even the harsh vocals I'd say are a bit more metalcore. Oh, you're referring to the blast beats. So, okay, so technically, just to clear this up in case you don't know, blast beats are specifically snare, 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 snare. I don't have a cool term for alternating kick and snare. I usually just use that very bloated, lengthy phrase. But if anybody has a name for that, especially the really fast version that you get in thrash or black metal, I could really use a general name for it. That'd be awesome. This released this year. Did I miss it? Yeah, June 2024. So a month ago. Was this, did somebody, oh, it's an EP. It's only 4 tracks. Oh, but Volume 1 came out in May. Oh, of last year. Volume 2 came out in March, and Volume 3 came out in June. So they've had 2 EPs this year. And if you put all 3 volumes together, you got 14 tracks. Well, that's cool. A series of EPs that all come together. I can get behind that. Yeah, snare, 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 snare. New wave of smashing all chords. I can get behind that. It's the new sack. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to this too, though. I'll listen to all 3 volumes, especially if they're as good as that track was. Traditional blast beat is actually a very fast polka beat with kicks on all 4. Interesting. I've not listened to enough polka specifically focused on drums to really pick up on that. So that's a neat little detail. I don't think I have anything else to add to that one. Just it was wonderful. Catchy in all the right ways, heavy and brutal in all the best of those ways, and just really nice contrast all over the place between melody, atmosphere, texture, the use of the piano and the synthesizers to lighten up some of the heavier sections, and the dexterity of the vocalist. Check the official definition of blast beats. Now I'm curious. Is there an official dictionary for musical terms? Wikipedia says a type of drum beat that originated in hardcore punk and grindcore, often associated with extreme metal, such as black metal and death metal, occasionally in metalcore. In Adam McGregor's definition, a blast beat generally comprises a repeated 16th note figure played at a very fast tempo and divided uniformly among the bass, snare, and ride, crash, or hi-hat. So according to this, the most common and simple blast beat pattern is found in Scrum by Napalm Death, which is alternating bass and snare. Interesting. Let me pull this up so y'all can see too, because this is neat stuff. So the X's up top are some sort of cymbal hit. That might be a ride, but I don't read drum notation very well. The one that, if it were the one on the bottom, I was going to say in the F slot for treble. The dot at the bottom here is a bass kick, and the one in the middle-ish is snare. And this is the blast beat pattern found in Napalm Death's Scum. However, it also showcases this. Really? Which is a cymbal, snare, and bass all at the same time repeatedly. So a blast beat actually applies to both. No, Synaps, it may have been a joke, but yeah, this was an educational segment for me. Very interesting. Whitney Strub of Pop Matters has described it as maniacal percussive explosions, less about rhythm per se than sheer sonic violence. See, I assumed that it was just the repeated snare because gravity blasts, which would be a modulation of it, is all snare. It uses a slightly different technique, utilizing the rim of the drum as a fulcrum to drum faster. So I assumed the blast beats were just snare, but Snare kick app. Oh man. At some point, you're just gonna have to start using initials. Definitely exists some kind of common ground, but no official definition. I would not mind creating some sort of musical dictionary, especially for rock and metal. Because, you know, as far as like classical music goes, with all the Latin words, I think that's all really well documented. But there's probably some cool stuff in rock and metal and electronic and pop and stuff like that with more modern usage of phrase to define things or to talk about things that maybe don't have specific definitions to them. I'd love to make a little musical dictionary for that. Do I have time for it? Nope. Just another project to throw in the heap of projects that I might do sometime in my life. Alright, let's wrap this up. Yeah, right, I love standardization. I also understand the comedy behind making new standards. So, we got TATRAN's Lovers here, which we have checked out recently on an album review. Mistrazi says the live performance of the song on the new album. Love how they can make such unique music with just drums, bass, and a guitar. So, he's the drummer, right? With the long hair, the Jesus hair, and the beard. I think I've seen him before. He seems like the person who would know drum words. I might have to go check that out. If you can, put a link down. I don't think I've seen you on Discord. Discord's the best place for that, but YouTube sometimes kicks links out. So if you can place one, that'd make it easier for me to find it. Let's dive into this. And actually, let me do an audio check real quick. I'm going to take my headphones off as if I'm trying to not spoil this song, as if I've never heard it before. Alright, that looks like our peak there. Oh, we were actually really close already. Why is my voice starting to give, though? I'm getting a bit raspy here. Alright, that should be good. Also, it does look like there's some flashing lights in this video. If that's an issue, look away, new tab, any of that stuff. We'll be back in 6 minutes with no music video. Let's dive in. I vaguely recall liking this one up until we got to track 5, which was called Fish's Tears, which ended up being my favorite track of the album. Very grungy start to this, though. Drummer just absolutely killing it. backing the energy down, strong contrast but building it back up. A little bit of darkness there. Cool, and yeah, no worries about it either. I'm sure I can find it. It should be outside. It just saves me a little bit of time. So if you can't find it, that's cool too. I'll get around to it. Mark, you got me thinking of a cult. Yes, come join the community. We have cookies and milk. That panning synthy sounds wild. But they don't have a synth, right? That's the guitar. Dude, does he have, what is that going through his, is that a China? Or did he drill holes in that cymbal himself? The camera on the metronome. I would love a Bob Hunt song just so I could kind of see the similarities between some of the stuff y'all have been talking about today. Do they? That's wild. I always figured, I mean, they do sell Chinas with the holes pre-drilled, but I don't think I've ever heard of a drummer drilling their own holes into cymbals. But I'm trying to figure out what he has running through the cymbal too. I thought it was metal at first, but it moves. I think almost like it's plastic, soft plastic. Cool to hear about you setting up the Discord account. If you need any help with it, let me know. You can DM me pretty easily, but I also made a video about Discord a while ago. Kind of help newcomers to Discord navigate it. Yeah. So I don't have anything new to add to that. I enjoyed it. On a second time through, I think a little bit less so. The middle does get a bit jammier than I remember, but they do a fantastic job at creating a lot of different sounds and textures and atmospheres. Their melody writing is pretty cool when they decide to go that direction, and the drummer is a freaking beast. Just so varied, playing around with time feel and then just all the fills. It is wonderful stuff, and it blows my mind, as Mistrazi stated, that it's just the three of them creating all of this. There's so much going on with timbre changes, guitar tone changes, all sorts of stuff. It's absolutely wild. I think they do a fantastic job. If you enjoyed that song, I can recommend the entire rest of that album. And also, if you want, I did do an album reaction to it a couple of weeks ago too. Might have been just 2 weeks ago. It was recent. I think it was last month, but I don't think it was that long ago. So I definitely have more thoughts on that song if you want more of an analytical take on it. It was track 3, I think, so it's not even too far into the video. But yeah, just a wonderful time. Those guys are super talented. All right, we ran over just a little bit. I'm going to blame that mostly on technical problems. This was a very eclectic stream, that is for sure. I got to see if I've used that before. I can't believe I haven't called anything an eclectic stream before, but there's probably some variation of that is what today is going to be. Can we have an all blast beat request? No. No. Oh, man. There is no way I'd make it through a whole week of blast beats. That's how that and black metal. Although I did get through like 7 or 8 black metal songs last week, but I mean, you give me a bunch of that stuff, might make me think about quitting, and then take the control away from y'all. I'm choosing the songs for a month. We're only listening to emo and musicals. I'll see you metalheads in a month. Oh man. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for today. Eclectic stream number 100. They are very often eclectic. We had a blast. All right, you guys have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. We got a cool week coming up. We got a cool week coming up after that. I don't think we're gonna have any polls tomorrow for the patrons, since that's the first week I'll be out. So yeah, we don't need to have a theme poll for that. And we don't need a song poll for next week because it's random. So yeah, no more polls until 2 more Mondays. How's that gonna work? Yeah, okay, that'll be it. The next poll will be on Monday the 22nd. Technically, I'll have started my internet detox, but I'll take 30 minutes to make some polls. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. And yeah, just keep listening to cool music. Find some more cool stuff to send my way. Oh man, sometimes I wonder if I do this for like the wrong reasons. I make this channel just so I can get awesome recommendations. Nah, just a little bit of a joke, but it is one of the best perks of having this community. You guys are awesome. Thank you all for being with me on this journey so far. It's bonkers. I can't believe we're almost at 5 years. I'm rambling though. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you later.